I'd like to start by reading the land acknowledgement, which was developed by the Native Advisory Council, co-chaired by Emmanuel Madera and Sarah Livy West. The University of Massachusetts Amherst acknowledges that it was founded and built on the unceded homelands of the Pocumtuck Nation on the land of the Norwottuck community. We begin with gratitude for nearby waters and lands. We recognize these lands and waters as important relations with which we are all interconnected and depend on to sustain life and well-being. The Pocumtuck had connections with these lands for millennia. Over 400 years of colonization, when Pocumtuck peoples were displaced, many joined their Algonquian relatives to the east, south, west, and north. That includes Mashpee, Aquinnah, Wampanoag, Nipmuc, Narragansett, Mohegan, Pequot, Mohican communities, and Abenaki and other nations of the Wabanaki Confederacy. These Native peoples still maintain connections and relationships of care for these lands today. We also acknowledge that the University of Massachusetts Amherst is a land grant university. As part of the Moral Land Grant Act, portions of land from 82 Native nations west of the Mississippi were sold to provide the resources to found and enroll this university. As an active first step towards decolonization, we encourage you to learn more about the Native nations whose homelands UMass Amherst now resides on, and the indigenous homelands on which you live and work. We also invite you to deepen your relationship to these living lands and waters. The QR code on the front of your program takes you to the UMass Amherst Native Advisory Council website. Many thanks to the UMass Native Advisory Council for this acknowledgement and invitation. It's good to be with you all today. BMB faculty and staff are collectively immensely proud of our majors, graduate students, and postdocs, and it has been our pleasure to have played some part in your UMass success stories. I will be handing over the proceedings to Amy Springer very shortly, but first I have the honor of presenting an award established by a friend of BMB that is in my name and affords me the opportunity to acknowledge the excellent work of my faculty colleagues. I am very pleased to present the Jennifer Normally Award for Extraordinary Service to BMB to Dr. Becky Miller. So a few words about Dr. Miller. Dr. Miller joined the department in 2015 to teach our non-majors elementary biochemistry lecture course, which serves hundreds of students per year. With her focus on creating an environment where all students can learn, she has developed a course that is both challenging and accessible and ultimately very valuable for students who are not biochemistry majors and need a course in biochemistry to pursue their career goals, because we all know how important biochemistry is. Dr. Miller is also deeply interested in understanding how students learn best and has impressed me with her scholarly approach, always willing to innovate and explore. After pivoting to online teaching during the pandemic and then resuming in-person teaching, she has been examining how flexible course formats, for example, letting students choose between in-person or online participation, impacts their success in classes. Dr. Miller has also taken a leadership role in bringing a cohesiveness to our BMB majors curriculum around scientific writing in the discipline of biochemistry. Every undergraduate major on this campus is required to take a course that focuses on writing within their discipline. And Dr. Miller has served as the course coordinator for BMB writing course, which is taught in small sections by multiple faculty members. She led the effort to standardize the course across the sections and has been collaborating with colleagues in the College of Education and faculty in rhetoric and composition to develop methods to best support student learning in STEM writing. And with her scholarly approach to how students learn and how best to support that learning, she has provided leadership in our department's participation in a campus-wide initiative to improve student belonging and connectedness in the classroom, which research suggests is fundamentally important to student success. So again, with collaborators from disciplines of scientific education and composition and rhetoric, Dr. Miller is exploring the impact of how students engage in STEM writing, develop both agency and belonging in science and in the classroom. I'm very excited about the potential work for her work in this area to impact our curriculum broadly. Talking about teaching with Dr. Miller always leaves me inspired and energized. This award is a small token of my gratitude for your tremendous service to the department. And so I'll hand over the proceedings to Dr. Amy Springer.
Thank you. My name is Amy Springer. I know most of the students here. I'm the Chief Undergraduate Advisor and Senior Lecturer. And I want to welcome all of the awardees, friends, family, BMB staff, and faculty, and a special shout out to the Dean of our college, Michael Fox, who is joining us here today. Today, we get to honor a very large number of students, students of whom we are immensely proud. Most of these are seniors who never had a real high school graduation and who probably spent most of their first year at home in their bedrooms studying their classes. So we are thrilled that we've had 3 years with you, and it went by so fast. My role as MC, I will read the awards, and the awardee will come on up, and then for each awardee, I will call on someone to say a few words about me. The first award we'll be giving out is the Henry Little Award. This is an endowed award that was given to us to honor a top biochemistry major who has shown academic excellence and research in biochemistry. We have a great deal of trouble identifying the top biochemistry major. We have several of them that the committee had to review. And this year we have selected 2 awardees. The first of these awardees is Sarkap Srivastava. Dr. Lauren Andrews.
Happy for Sarkap. He's been an excellent researcher in my laboratory for the last 2 years. I can also attest, I'm a chemical engineer. Sarkap took one of my advanced chemical engineering classes, which was phenomenal in the classroom as well. In his research, he's been working on a project to develop CRISPR interference methods. Had to take on a lot of protocol development, really excelled at that. This year in his project, he's been applying those methods, looking at adhesion, understanding antibiotic resistance. Even when the graduate student couldn't be there to take on, he would take ownership to designing experiments and has excelled at that. So happy for you, yes, for this well-deserved recognition.
Congratulations. Our next Henry Little awardee is Alex Martinez. Alex is Dr. Peter Chen.
I feel comfortable. So Alex Martinez, what can I not say? I first actually knew Alex because he was part of the Lisa program for a summer. That's right, which is an undergraduate research-focused summer program to get people into different labs. And so after just sort of knowing briefly from there, he was kind and bold enough to TA for me for physical chemistry, 8:30 in the morning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. As one of my first TAs for the first time I taught that class, it was fantastic. It was so fantastic. I go up to him afterwards and I say, Alex, do you do any kind of research stuff? And he's like, well, not right now. I'm like, you must work. So the first summer he joins my lab, he works, and not only is he undaunted by the research that's going on, he accelerates and gets to it like a fish to water, but then decides, well, maybe because I asked him to TA again for me, thank you very much, 8:30 again in the morning in the spring. And so during this time, I was just thrilled with the success that he had had in the research department. He was excelling at every stage, and to the point where I'm thinking to myself, this kid is like a graduate student in the lab. And so I'm really excited that he's staying on for a 5th-year master's in the lab as a graduate student to finish off his undergraduate. Now, all this time, Alex is super quiet, low key, totally all alone. And all of a sudden, I get this email from the department being like, by the way, he's also excelling academically. Not that I'm surprised, but I was like, oh, he's never said anything. So I am thrilled to be able to celebrate this with him. And his mom and his grandmother are here to celebrate with us. So Alex, congratulations.
Right. The Jessica Hayes Scholarship is given in the by the family of Jessica Hayes, who was a BMB staff member, and in her memory. And this is to honor a student who has a record of high academic achievement, but also bears pursuing non-traditional challenges and a great breadth of interest. And is the Zach family here today? Okay, next slide. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So, our awardee is Zach Keller. Is Dr. Elizabeth Moore.
Hi everyone, my name is Liz Rose. I'm a lecturer in the department and I teach one of the first courses in the major. So I get to interact and know many students quite early on in their academic career. And that's how I came to know Zach first. He was always in class, raising his hand, answering questions, and really encouraging this collaborative atmosphere in the classroom. So he has this innate curiosity and a lot of interest that he brings to the things that he's pursuing. So again, students selected for the Jessica Hayes Award exhibit qualities of boldness in the pursuit of non-traditional challenges and have a lot of interests. And Zach's curiosity and relentless pursuit of knowledge extends beyond the BMB courses and our major. His curiosity is reiterated by Dr. Erica Hamilton from the microbiology department and Dr. Todd Disatel from the Department of Anthropology. Both wrote letters that really highlighted Zach's curiosity, creativity, and desire to pursue ideas from different perspectives. So in addition to exploring these diverse interests through coursework, Zach has also been involved in research in the biomedical engineering department and has pursued his love of music as a member of the university choral group and the concert band. He's a tuba player. Zach also works in the food service industry. He's been involved in training and management for the last few years. So Zach, in recognition for all that you do and all that you bring to the university community, I'm delighted to be able to present you with the Jessica Hayes Award.
Hopefully that's the only one that we get the big check for. Yes, all right. The Linda Slakey Award is given for a student with high enthusiasm for participating in laboratory research and also to support a student who might not otherwise have access to performing research. And before I get to our 2024 winner, our 2023 winner was abroad in Italy this time last year. And so we told her she could come back and get her award today. And so that is Sarah Tobias.
I am delighted to present this award to Sarah, who is definitely very enthusiastic about research. She emailed me in the freshman year, fall semester to join the lab. It was not an easy time to join a lab. In the spring semester, she was here with all the remote stuff going on and had one semester to learn the project from the undergrad who had been doing the project and was graduating. This has been an undergrad only project so far, and Sarah has succeeded in conjugating DNA to a protein in an effort to be able to assemble this functional signaling complex. So she's had to be super independent and she's great at that. And she's also a great team player. We're going to miss her. She has great questions and was a wonderful addition to the lab. And I'm also delighted that she's going on to graduate school at in Pittsburgh in a joint program between the University of Pittsburgh and Carnegie Mellon. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what she does with her career.
Yeah.
All right, and our 2024 Slate Award winner is here, and that is Minjun An. For Minjun is Dr. Jesse Major.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. I've been very fortunate, as many years have several excellent students from biochemistry actually run our lab in animal sciences. And we're going to recognize June with this award. And a few things about June that really set him apart through my eyes. One word is sort of relentless. Okay? So I've known June for a few years, and he's always very busy selling classes, and always says, "Yeah, I can do more. I can do more. I want to do more. I can do more." And I'm often putting the brakes on, trying to, and he convinces me it's okay, you can do it, and indeed he usually does. So it's quite remarkable, including this semester, where he's basically working full-time internship. And I was like, "Well, I don't know what's gonna happen." He says, "No, I can come in on nights and weekends. You can do it." And he made some progress this semester, which is great. On top of that, it was just a pleasure to have in the lab, confident, calm, going to help with everything, just really excellent to remember. I'm really looking forward to the next year and a half also. We can do.
Right. We also have a series of awards that are offered by some of our professional societies that give us an opportunity to honor even more of our excellent undergraduates. And this one is the American Chemical Society Award, and it is for a graduating senior showing promise in research in biochemistry. And that award this year goes to Brooke Ahmad.
Hi everyone, I made some notes. So don't forget anything. So I'm so excited that Brooke won this award, very well deserved. She has worked incredibly hard these last 4 years. And when I say incredibly hard, I'm not exaggerating. She works harder than anyone I've ever seen. No matter how small the task is, she attacks it with 100% ferocity. Whether it's like organizing a schedule or doing a really complicated protein prep. So I've had her in class, she's been in my lab for 2 years, and in both scenarios, she is just top of the top. Always putting her all forth, no matter what it is. And in the lab specifically, she's been working on a really challenging project that's new to our lab. And it's new because Brooke actually brought the technique to our lab from a summer that she spent at Harvard. She worked on this technique, which is proximity labeling. And then in the fall, we talked about, applying it to our favorite enzyme, CANK2. And so Brooke's really been spearheading that with a graduate student. And I'm sure by the end of the semester, we're going to have some really exciting results. So a lot of pioneering, a lot of technique development and troubleshooting, which Brooke is just fantastic at. On top of that, she's just so great to have in the lab, super positive and keeps everyone together. And we're really gonna miss her when she goes. So can't wait to see what you do down the road.
All right. And the award for the American Society of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, also to a senior showing promise in biochemistry and molecular biology research, goes this year to Sky Moritz. It was wrong.
So Sky is really a dream of any professor because I think she figured out her entire career before even studying on our campus. So there was very little left for me to do. And many awards, she's done fellowships every summer. She's at UMass. And she's also got a Fulbright scholarship to study in Belgium. So it's the first time really have it. One story I really want to tell Ellen during her research project. So her research involved a lot of genotyping by PCR. It's a particularly difficult PCR challenge. I know it was going to be difficult because you delete a big chunk of genome and give it to her, but she can handle it. But she's encountered some difficulties, and we discussed that. Out of desperation, I suggest something that's some past. So she took that suggestion, but she also changed it. Yeah. She didn't tell me. That turned out to be the magic touch for that project, but otherwise that we had failed in debate encouraging, but on the other hand, instead we are now moving forward full steam. So I think that it displays the two qualities of a Chilean scientist. One is independence, like in listening to your advisor, but also knowing that at some point that you know better than your advisor. And second is the wisdom of not telling that. Should have worked better than the original idea. So we're really proud of this group.
All right, so next we're going to present the awards for excellence in biochemistry and molecular biology. And this is based on academic achievement in the major. We have 36 of these, and so we are not going to have someone come up and speak for each one of them, but we are going to have someone read their names, and they can come up and get their pin and their.
All right, I got my little notes here about how to make the pronunciations for many students I have not met. So that is my disadvantage. So for those of you I haven't met, congratulations. And so to make it easy, let's have people kind of come up this way and then exit that way. That way we're not. Okay, so first is Brooke Woolman. And Colby Alex. And Jaden Emily. Isabella Kraft. Elizabeth Daltian. Nathan Dedian. Hannah Demanche. Ula Estafans. Lizzie Fernandez. Emma Gerace. Quinn Gross. Alara Hillip. Emily Kim. Brian Loggeman. Savan Nandapudi. Alex Martinez. Sky McMorris. Abraham Myerson. Rukmini Maskey. Cecilia Murphy. Blake Nguyen. Cameron Parsons. Ernie Patel. Hunter Patterson. Henry Raleigh. Antonio Santana. Anish Shah. Follow direction. Rachel Samos. Elitza Siotis. Sarpak Shrivastava. Alyssa Sting. Gaia 10. Din Tong. Last but not least, King Trey.
Great. So the American Institute of Chemists each year gives us an award to give to an undergraduate, graduate student, and a postdoc for their work in biochemistry. And our undergraduate this year is Emily Pease.
Hi, I'm Kim Pemley. I'm in vet and animal sciences, and I'm so lucky to have had Emily in my lab. And guess what? I get to keep her. She got to work with your monsters too. So Emily actually began working in my lab. I think it was during your sophomore year, and she was working in the business office. And I convinced her somehow I needed help that winter. She came and worked with me. I guess she's been working with me ever since. I'm so lucky. And she began working her junior year on her current thesis project, examining the role of PPOX, which is the penultimate enzyme in the heme biosynthesis pathway. It's a developmental biology project, but I think it was that like biochemical nature, the mutation that really got her in. she's really learned a lot about and had to learn a lot about developmental biology and early developmental biology, which is maybe outside of where she thought she was going. But she's made a serious impact, and I'm so glad to be able to continue this work, which will get published through next year. Just about Emily, she's like staunchly independent. As a researcher as well, which is going to really do you well in the future. She's incredibly dependable, quiet, and innovative. She's kind and go-getter and very, very smart. She also is a really hard worker, which I think all of us who got to this point have to be. In addition to doing a 12-credit thesis this year, she's also in marching band, which is a huge effort, and is a PTA driver, which is also pretty cool. I get to see her on my morning run sometimes. She keeps at me. Emily has faced a great deal of adversity, and she's really one of the bravest undergrads I know. And I think all of these qualities will really serve her really well in her life and also in the PhD program you get to go into. So thanks for coming and being part of my lab. I'm so glad that you're getting the support.
Right, and our American Institute of Chemists for our graduate student goes to Rebecca Sebastian.
It's really a pleasure to be here to witness Dr. Rebecca Sebastian. So Rebecca is my second graduate student and also a second recipient in my lab to receive this AIC graduate level award. So end of two, I see a pattern here. Jokes aside, Rebecca spent 5 years in my lab. She was one of the first graduate students that I admitted through the NSP program, the Neuroscience and Behavior program here at UMass. In the past 5 years, she has really proven to be an exceptionally productive trainee in the lab, contributing to 3 first author papers and 1 as a middle co-author. And notably, her work includes a joint first author publication in Nature Communications last year. And not only has she excelled in her research, she has also played a crucial role in training numerous undergrads and graduate students in the lab in brain organ culturing and techniques. Many of those mentored by her have thrived and have now gone on to pursue PhD programs at Brandeis and Harvard. Despite the challenges posed by the global pandemic, which was just 6 months after she joined the lab, Rebecca has really showcased outstanding leadership, making her an invaluable member of the lab. And now she's poised to continue her research in neurogenetics as a postdoc with Dr. Jen Moulet at Rutgers Medical School starting this summer, underscoring her commitment and contributions to the field. So in light of her achievements, I am super happy and congratulations, Rebecca, for this well-deserved recognition.
Right, our American Institute of Chemists Award for postdoctoral research goes to Rob Williams. So maybe there were 2 people speaking for Rob, Dan Ebert and Nyla Girash.
So first of all, there are many reasons that I'm delighted that Rob is getting us award. The first one is that he's richly deserving. I mean, this is a postdoc who joined our labs a couple of years ago, already has a first authored PNAS paper. He came to us with these glowing recommendations, the kind that you sort of think to yourself when you read them, are we really going to be able to land this guy? And we worked hard at it. And Dan and I knew that we'd been working together quite a bit, but we really hadn't gotten to share some of them between our labs in a formal way. So we recruited Rob to our labs jointly, and this is another reason that I'm just delighted we're able to actually recognize what he's been doing. The other thing is that postdocs tend to be just a little bit quiet around the whole campus environment. And it's wonderful to me that we can have an award that is given to a postdoc. And we have very deserving postdocs, Rob being an example of an outstanding one. And then lastly, what I want to say is that this is the American Institute of Chemists and Learning. And Rob came to us from the University of Georgia, where he worked jointly with John Imster and Jim Prestigard. And most of you would know these are really hardcore biophysical chemists, and he has credentials in NMR and mass spec, really tough stuff. And we brought him here to dive into a very complicated biological problem that we wanted to work on together. And he was bold enough to do that, which I think is really a testament to his, will serve him in his career in the long run. And so he's now doing this array of chemical methods applied to a protein that, what's the molecular weight of UTT? 170 kilodaltons. He's already been able to do a model of its structure and to work out a model for its function, and he's been able to really expand our lab so that we now have joint group meetings that he works with another student from Dan's lab, a graduate student, postdoc working together as a team. And it's just fabulous. We can have the opportunity to present you with something that's all of the stuff we do. So we look forward to more. It's not leaving right away. So, but he'll do great things.
All right. So our next award is the Carol Ryan Award. Carol Ryan is a staff member who worked with our advising and scheduling. And this award goes to a biochemistry major who has significantly contributed to the department through their service to peer advising and departmental events. And this year that goes to Ula Esteban. So this is the one I get to speak. That's not the one I get to speak. And it's okay. I have Kleenex here. It's hard to decide what to say about Bula. So Bula was recommended to the advising team by those folks who spoke about his positive energy and his excellent work ethic in Biochemistry 85. And as a peer advisor, he's been a great resource not only for our major, which he knows really well, but he also works with pre-health advising, and he's been involved in instructional support in so many of the foundational courses that our majors take. Particularly, he has been a TA in Bio 151 to more first years than I can help, certainly. Bula arrived in the US from Egypt when he was 9 years old and had to find his way in a new culture and language. And I really think that this experience has really helped to define his compassion for others and the passion with which he works with other students. His peers look up to him. One of our newer peer advisors wrote in his application that Bula does it all. He's a TA, SI, peer advisor, RA, research assistant, pre-med student, and probably more that I don't even know about. I aspire to manage extracurriculars, jobs, and challenging classes like he does. I almost didn't want to read that for fear that everyone would think that's what they should do, because it's not what she can or should do. But somehow Bula juggles it all and stays cheerful and supportive and enthusiastic. And my confidence in Bula was such that I recruited him as a teaching assistant for my course, which he had not even taken. And it's a laboratory course, and he was able to dive in, learn my practices and procedures, and always a step ahead of the students, helping them think through their experiments, figure out what to do next, what reagents they needed, troubleshoot, and mostly boost their confidence when they were frustrated by mistakes or slow progress. So whether he is organizing our Instagram launch page, organizing a puppy therapy session, or giving a first-year registration advice,
He has been working to develop a culture of inclusivity within BMB among all our majors, regardless of background. It is remarkable how many lives Bula has touched in BMB and in CNS. I think everyone knows Bula. And especially considering that we really were all pretty remote during his first year. So he was very easily selected our class marshal for the CNS commencement celebration come up. So it's going to be really hard to imagine the peer advising office without Bula next year. But I'm so proud of all that he has done, and I really look forward to hearing about his future accomplishments. So the next set of awards, our Leading Strand Award, is for a biochemistry major who showed leadership, initiative, and demonstrated strength in working with BMB majors. Now, those of you who are biochemists know that there should be only one leading strand. We have 3 this year, but that's just the nature of our major. So one of our 3 leading strand awards is actually not able to be here today, but it's a Siocus. It is Good Friday for Greek Orthodox Easter, which unfortunately falls on the same day. So she will be receiving her award next week. The next Leading Strand Award winner is Anish Shah.
So as Amy was saying, I love the BMB award because it's time that we get to tell you all how awesome you are. Which we don't get to tell you nearly as often as we want to. So I'm honored to be I'm honored to be presenting this award to Anish, who I think has the skills that Amy was talking about for the BMB Leading Strand, which is collaborative skills and leadership. And as I'm going to tell you in a little bit, how he's had a long-lasting impact in the department. So let me tell you a little bit about Anish and make him uncomfortable in the process. You may know him because you've taken a class with him, or he was a TA in 285, or a TA in 423, or a PLTL leader in chemistry, or a PLTL leader in 423, or he was a peer mentor. So that alone should tell you how involved he's been in the department. And in fact, he was so influential that although he graduated a semester early, the advising team asked him to come back and pay him for being a peer advisor in the spring, this past semester. So as I first knew Anish as a student in 423 and not to blow spot, but he did pretty well. And so at the end of the semester, I was very surprised and happy to hear they wanted to be a TA for 423. And he had been a TA before, so it was awesome. He kind of knew what to do. He's also very approachable, very friendly. He's able to put hard to grasp concepts in an easier way to understand. And importantly for me is that he's a team player. And he made it feel like it wasn't the instructor and the TA, but rather we were the teaching team. We were a team together. And I think that was awesome to have in the class. So I felt like I had a little bit of breathing room, and I could start thinking about how could I make small tweaks to the class for the following semester? Until I talked to Anish and I realized that he had been involved in the PLTL program in the chemistry department at various roles. And I realized, well, I had heard about the PLTL program from the chemistry instructors as well as from other schools, and knew that it was something that was good to have in 423 at some point when I had more time. But Anish had the expertise, and so it made me feel like I had to get my act together and bring it forward to 423, which we did this past fall. And so let me just tell you a little bit about me. I love to teach, and I love to make little changes to classes so that I can improve it every semester. And I'm internally motivated, which means that I don't really, I want to do the changes because I want to. But this is the first time that I've had a student motivate me because he had expertise in something to make it better, to make my teaching better, and to make the class better. And so I'm forever grateful to you for that. And I think that all the students that have taken 423 since should also be grateful to you because the exam scores for those people that took PLTL sessions were 7 points higher than those that didn't. And so if that's not a contribution to the department, I don't know what is. So with that, please join me in celebrating Anish and this awesome honor. Thank you.
All right. And our last leading strand award winner is one of our laboratory teaching assistant extraordinaire, Daisy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tian, and I'm one of two of the tech assistants for the introductory biochemistry lab 376. So on behalf of the lab teaching staff, I'm honored to have the opportunity to start to tell you about the positive impact that Daisy has had in the lab during her time with us. I've had the pleasure of working with Daisy both as a student in 376 when she first took it, and then in the following semester when she came and TA for us. In the past couple years that I've been a part of the teaching lab staff, we've come to know that new TAs take a little bit of time to adjust to prepping for a lab class, but then also navigating how to assist students during the class. But Daisy was an exception. And it wasn't a shock once we took stock of how exceptional she was as a student in the class. She is amazing. We're so lucky to have her. You'll be missed so much. Please consider staying forever. I have been lucky enough to work with Daisy during my first semester in sections of 376, maintaining an environment in the labs which facilitates the workflow and ability to engage with our students is only possible through the workings of our TAs, of which Daisy is a shining example. Throughout her time assisting at 376, Daisy has never failed to step up to the task of being smoothly, whether it's grabbing materials, or working on equipment, or answering questions from students. Daisy has taken all of these responsibilities on its stride. Her diligence and drive means that I've had time to prepare for the students every day and made the transition of acclimating to my role at UMass all more seamless. It's teams like her that keep chemistry labs up and running, and we are so happy to see the part of today.
Great. So that is our last award today. I want to, a couple of things in closing. One of them is a big shout out to our BMB staff who put together this whole program, the food, the decorations, the program you're looking at. So thank you to Erin and Susan and Shannon and And then I just want to take a moment again to congratulate all of our winners here and not here today. Thank you. And please feel free to eat more food, take pictures. It's great to take pictures. And we have the time to this meal for a little while. Thank you.